Yo, what is up, Force Nation? How are you guys doing today? Alright, you guys, in this video, we're going to explain the question that I get quite often, probably the most asked question. Why is your name typeforced? How did you come up with typeforced? Where is typeforced from? What does it mean? I get this question asked on stream a lot. Why is your name typeforced? And I answer this on stream so many times. We get asked this all the time. So we decided we'd make a sub goal. We blew the sub goal out of the water. Now we're making a video of where I got my name and why. So just a quick rundown. It's a pretty common question. Why is your name what it is? I think a lot of people get asked this. People have made up their names in their creative ways or their lack of creative ways. If my name was Shane, I probably wouldn't get asked this a lot. You know, if my gaming name was Shane, it would be pretty obvious. That's probably my name. But no, my gaming name or my, alias is typeForced. It's a lowercase type, capital F, and then forced. A lot of people wonder why and where it came from. So let's get into that. So you guys, I came up with this name in about 2003. About 2003, that's about 12 years ago. So about 12 years ago, I came up with the name typeforced. I was playing a MMORPG called Shadowbane. Shadowbane was a very typical style MMORPG like a WoW or something, where it had an account with multiple characters. So you could have 8 different characters in your one account, and each one had to have its own unique name. Now, the thing about Shadowbane is it had a first and a last name. So typeForced, the last name and the first name could always be as long as together they were unique, it was fine. So you could have the same last name over and over and over again, as long as your first name was unique. A lot of people had the first name and the last name, they put one letter on it and they made a different character and then changed that letter and made a different character. So it was just like, they added an X and then made it a Y and then made it a Z, and they had 3 different character names. The more creative people, they came up with surnames. So maybe they were role players, maybe they had a clan, maybe they had, I don't know, something that they were into, but they would be the of the Dragonborns. They would be Steven Dragonborn, and then James Dragonborn, and then Devin Dragonborn. I don't know. That Dragonborn would be their surname, their first name would change, and whenever you saw Dragonborn, you knew it was either of this person or of this clan that it belonged to. So a lot of people adopted the whole surname thing, and they rolled with that. I personally, at the time, was not into any form of role play. I was not into any form of, like, I don't know. I've never been a super creative guy either, but I wasn't into any form of the role play or like I don't know, I didn't get behind that whole thing. So I did it in a more systematical way, a more like statistically approachable way for someone like myself. So instead of surname like forced, I swapped it to my surname being over here, like type. So all of my characters, all 8 of my characters started off with type, lowercase type, because the type was not only the common of the name, it was also unimportant. It was literally, what type of character is this? That's how I came up with it. So let me explain this to you guys. I had 8 characters named type, all lowercase type, and then the secondary name was all something capitalized. These were some of the names I had. This is how cool I was 12 years ago. For my priest character, my healer priest character, I named myself Type Priest. When I made another one, I named it Type Healer. This is very good stuff. This is very good stuff. For my ranger was Type Ranger. I actually had what they called a buff bot. I named him Type Bot, so it was very obvious that he was a bot. I got kind of creative. I had this druid. I named him Type Chosen. Yeah, I don't know why I went with that, but we went with he was the chosen character. I ended up making, which later on became my main, it was a Nephilim healer Chandler. So this flying based winged creature that was a healer that was also a nuker. And we named him typeForced. The name you have before you today, the name that I go by since then, has been typeForced. This specific character at the time, was the time that I made it was an extremely new build. So it wasn't very common. I actually picked it up from a friend named Valdez Skyfire. Every single one of his characters were something Skyfire. Valdez was his first name, and I saw him build it, and I was like really interested in it, so I built it. This character was so OP. This guy That's why I named him typeForced, just because I felt like he could force anything. He was extremely OP. He could take out groups. He was like the best group support. He was the best single player. Like he was the best. He pretty much did everything. He summoned people. He healed people. He stealthed. He had insane nuking damages. He used a shield and blocked all incoming physical damage. Like he could he just this character got nerfed like nonstop. Like there was like 8 nerfs later on for this specific class combination of characters. So long story short, though, I named myself typeForced with that character. He became my main. I became known as typeForced. Now, they did know me on other names, but anytime someone saw typeForced, that was basically me. That's what people referred me to on the forums. That's what, people called me as. Like the whole, I don't know, I was thinking originally that it would be forced and the type would be just, the modifier, the surname, but it changed into type, which makes sense because that was the first name. People didn't exactly know my mindset, so I've been known as typeForced since then. After Shadowbane, another game came up called Darkfall Online. I spent most of my gaming career in this game, and in that game you only had one name, so you didn't have 8 different characters per account. You had one, so you had one character. You made his name once, and then you never touched his name again. You couldn't name change. You couldn't do anything. So I went with typeForced. And I played that game for 5-6 years. And I became known as typeForced even further. 100%. Instead of switching between types, I was always typeForced. So that is the basic reason why my name is typeForced. Again, I was not creative with it. I don't have a really, cool backstory. Basically, I was trying to systematically come up with a slightly different surname that like made sense to me. Type was a modifier, what type of character it was. I had some very, very dull ones, priest, ranger, bot. Then I got kind of creative. I went with chosen and then forced. Forced happened to stick. If I would have enjoyed my druid better, maybe you guys would all know me as type chosen. And I would hate to see it if I enjoyed my priest better and you guys all know me as type priest. I'm really glad typeForced stuck. I don't know. I like the feel of it. Everyone seems to think it's typed force. Maybe the D on force doesn't make sense, but I kind of thought it was cooler. I don't know why at the time. How old was I? 12 years ago, I would have been 14. So I was 14 when I thought of this. Thought the D on the end, forced instead of just force, was cooler. Like I was actually... Like this character actually forced people to do things. It actually, created movement. It actually dictated and depicted the fights. I was 14, you guys. Anyway, this is the name typeForced. This is where it came from. I get asked this a lot, so I wanted to throw this together for it. That's about the best I got, you guys. This is kind of long. I apologize. Maybe you guys will stick through the whole thing if you're actually interested. And if you guys did, thank you so much. All right, Force Station, that's all I got for you today. I'll check you guys later. You guys have a good one. Goodbye.